On today's episode of Titus and Tate, the Buckeyes are back. We're so effing back, Tate.
Yeah. You guys are abroad?
So top 5 we're back moments in college basketball history is Ohio State basketball this past week. For those who might not be aware, Ohio State is my alma mater. I don't talk about it a lot on the show, but every so often something happens in Ohio State basketball, in the Ohio State basketball world, and I have no choice but to,
What did Zed Key do?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why the Buckeyes are back. Number one, we got a 5-star commit.
Oh, okay.
I'm seeing a lot of people out there reporting him as a 4-star.
But he's a 5-star.
He's a 5-star.
As first reported here.
Hit F5 on your rankings and watch what happens.
You're saying bump him.
Bump him up.
Bump him up.
What's his name? Says Scotty. I'm kidding. Scotty Middleton.
Ooh.
The Buckeyes
related to Chris Middleton?
Maybe. I don't know.
Let's say so.
There's no way
Bump
of
him
knowing.
up. Bump him up.
We do not have the technology to look that up. The Buckeyes now have the number 3 recruiting class in 2023. So hang the banner.
Ooh.
The haters are fuming right now.
Mm-hmm.
Their heads are spinning. They're trying to figure out.
Make the graphic.
Let's tweet that out. I think someone at Fox did. They said that Ohio State football and Ohio State basketball both have the number 3 recruiting classes in 2023 right
For
now.
the first time since 2017. Big Ten stat of the week.
Also, the Buckeyes went to the Bahamas this week, Tate.
Yes. 2-0.
Beat Egypt and Puerto Rico. Here's Big Ten stat of the day. Almost $500 billion in GDP combined. Got their asses beat by a bunch of amateurs. Well,
what's the GDP of Columbus? Someone looked that up, and then that
$500 billion in GDP was nothing. Had no chance.
The pyramids. Yeah. Ever heard of them? No chance.
Speaking of overseas update, we might actually talk about that. We're not going to talk about Ohio State. I just got really excited though because there's good things flowing. There's good vibes around the program, but we'll see. We'll wait for Maui before I get too excited.
And can we be honest? I mean, there's not much going on. I mean, you and I mean, we are scraping, trying to find content. We're looking behind corners. We are yelling. We are screaming. Where is the content? And it's nowhere to be found.
Well, Jesse Gemstone himself, Bruce Pearl, took his Auburn Tigers to Israel.
Yes.
And lost to Israel. So maybe
the All-Star Select team, though, we have to point that out.
The All-Star Select team. They beat 2 other Israeli teams, and then they lost to the A team, I guess. So we could talk about that maybe. We could talk about Dejounte Murray and Paolo Banchero. What is that? I saw the clip.
It's something.
I need to know the story.
It's very Pacific Northwest beef, it feels like. So, maybe some animosity, maybe some jealousy.
We could also talk about Kevin Durant. Or not.
Yeah, I don't want to. Can I opt out of that conversation?
Oh my God, this guy! Don't get me started on Durant.
Yeah.
Don't. But at the same time, please do because I'm the guy that's like, I'm the guy that like walks into bars and is like, "Don't get me started," and then everyone's looking at me like, "We weren't gonna."
No, we weren't talking about him.
No one was
like,
gonna say
but if we are going to talk about it,
okay, well, don't get me started because if you do, oh boy, look out. No, we're gonna talk about Ohio State for the next hour and a half, I think, because what's his name again? Scotty Middleton. Scotty Middleton is committed to Ohio State.
Good name. I like the name. Strong name.
The Buckeyes are back. The Auburn Tigers are not, and Dejounte Murray and Paolo Banchero hate each other, and I'm gonna have Tate explain it to me. All that coming up, but first,
Woody Durham.
all right, as Tate said at the top, it is a content desert out there, Tate, in the world of basketball right now. I blame the NBA as we are wont to do on this show. We point the finger at one man's direction, and whenever we feel like a little agitated about the state of where we're at as a basketball community, and certainly that's us right now as we're coming to do this show, and there's not a ton to talk about for a sport that's supposed to be a 12-month-a-year sport.
Or so they told us.
That's what we've been told. So I want to point my finger where I always point it, right at Adam Silver, and say, you did this.
Yes.
You did this.
Number 2, you did this.
Get Mark Tatum in there. It makes it. I don't understand how Donovan Mitchell hasn't been traded yet when that was a done deal. I saw hashtag done deal.
Done deal.
To the Knicks.
Yeah. Jim was celebrating.
Jim's already celebrated 3
He has the Donovan Mitchell jersey from China.
The Kevin Durant story is not interesting.
Not at all.
It's like, just do it already.
Yeah.
Just like somebody do something. I don't want to, like these leaks, like right before we sat down to record the show, it says Kevin Durant wants to now fire Steve Nash, who, correct me if I'm wrong, did he not Steve Nash is the coach because Kevin Durant wanted him. Correct?
Yes, but they also, if people forget that he did say with Kyrie, they also didn't want a coach. So he did hire him, but they also didn't want him from the start. So
what do you want him to play for the Nets?
I would like the idea, player coach.
The Nets misinterpreted when Durant was like, bring in Nash.
Yeah.
And then they brought him in a coach, and he was like, no, I meant to.
Well, it's funny because it seems like all the leaks are like, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are upset that Steve Nash doesn't understand how to win a championship, and it's like, that's Steve Nash. Like, who did you think you hired?
That's a social network moment where you're like, if you would have invented Facebook, if he knew how to win a championship, he would have simply won championships.
He would have won championships. He didn't win MVPs. You never won MVC, not most valuable coach.
So at some point we might turn to Jim. Get your Google fingers ready, because at some point we might just turn to you and just say like Google basketball and hit enter and tell us what's going on.
Yeah, news.
It's that time. Tab. We're in the dog days of summer. The preseason's right around the corner. We can smell it. I can definitely smell it.
I see it.
I see it.
Right
now in the world of college basketball, it really, I mean, we can talk about Dejounte Murray and Paolo. That's, I certainly do want to talk about that.
Okay.
But the Auburn Tigers losing to Israel, is this news? Does this matter? I think the answer is definitely not, but also the fact that ESPN sent a production crew and Jay Billis was there calling the games.
Yes.
I found this interesting. And also Auburn, as we know, is one of the programs with Bruce Pearl, a.k.a. Jesse Gemstone, which is something that dawned on me during the tournament last year, and then it's become more and more clear.
Yeah, you can't see anything else.
That's all I see when I see this man.
Jesse.
They are one of the programs that is very much a look at me program. They're very much a please affix all your attention to us.
Yes, we're out here.
We're doing. Have you seen our environment, our home arena? It's bonkers. Have you seen the recruits we have? Have you seen this? Did you see the pizza that Bruce Pearl was giving out to the students? Look at this clip. Here, I'll show you on Twitter. Where's that tweet? Let me find the tweet. Yeah. Look at this tweet. So Bruce Pearl, he was the first. Have you seen any coach give out pizza to the student section? And I'm like, yes, literally every coach.
I saw Bruce Pearl do it. At Tennessee.
Yeah. They're like, no. Bruce Pearl invented this last year, and that is the state of Auburn basketball in 2022. Is like we invented everything 6 years ago.
Yes,
and please,
college basketball was done, dead to rights until we came in. Yeah.
So now what happens is we do pay attention and we watch, and now I'm paying attention to Auburn going to Israel, and baptizing their players. And going on the little tours and putting out the tweets, and you're seeing everything going on, and then you pay attention to the games and you see that Auburn loses to the Israeli, what was it, the select team,
the All-Star select team is what I saw, or is how they were dubbed.
I see Israel national team.
The Israel national team.
So maybe they played the select team and the national. It was two different teams.
They played like the U20 team and beat them.
Yeah.
So how much does this? How concerned are we hitting the panic button on Auburn as a program? What does this mean for Bruce Pearl's legacy? Your thoughts, Tate?
I would say this: I am worried that Bruce Pearl reached his peak point at Auburn. I'm worried that we're cascading on the other side of success. You know what I mean? Like when we had what was supposed to be the number one pick, we were the number one team in the country. Everybody believed in Walker Kessler, the best defensive player in the country. And then all things, obviously went to hell against Miami. And now we're trying to draw the eyeballs back. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the NBA draft. Don't worry about any of the things that went wrong. Still look at us. And then if you're looking at us and you've been looking, Mark Titus, you've seen not good things. And that's not good for the brand. And that's not good for Bruce Pearl because he needs more and more good brand play things to happen. And, we're a long ways from when he was, on the side of the road in a ditch talking about Isaac Okoro. And granted, Isaac Okoro, I'm a big fan. I think the guy's going to be a star. Top 10 dunk in the NBA regular season. I saw their little top 50 dunks of the year. Isaac Okoro, number 10 on the list.
It was number 10?
Number 10.
Wow.
So Bruce Pearl,
hang that banner.
He's going to at least promote that. But this right here, this is not good. And they were begging for viewers. You mentioned this. I mean, they were on Twitter like, come watch this game. And then I was like, sure, I'll tune in. Why not? And I tune in, and immediately they're down 4 points when I'm watching, and I say, oh, brand deduction.
Yeah.
Brand deduction.
Yeah.
And Bruce Pearl, how many more of those hits can he take?
Which is why I don't think you put these games on TV. I think you go, you do your foreign trip, you wait till you go 2-0 like Ohio State did, and then you're like,
Tweet the graphic.
tweet the graphic 2-0, and when you lose, you don't tweet anything.
Yeah. Good day out there, boys.
I saw someone respond Auburn tweet like they the Auburn basketball Twitter account cracks me up because it
has a personality.
It really does. Yeah. It tweeted this game against Israel in August. It's just such a meaningless game. It tweets like it's the middle of the SEC schedule.
Yeah.
It's like tough one.
It's like a gauntlet.
Yeah, tough one, but we learned a lot about our team or something like that.
Yeah.
And then a graphic of the score. And then because all the Auburn fans will tweet, we talked about this on the show. This was nominated for a Duffy, was it not?
Yes, I believe
the
so.
saga of the Alabama Twitter account would not.
The replies. Yeah.
Alabama posted that they lost to Auburn, deleted it, tried to repost.
Every time they posted it just got worse. They were like, it can't get any worse this time, but it kept getting worse.
Which is definitely funny when the Auburn fans do it, but then the problem is when you lose to Israel, then people do it back to you. And I saw one guy made one of the deep fried memes where like the it's like a purposely shitty meme with the big text on it, and you know how like usually it says like you just lost to Bruce Pearl, and then like his nipples are glowing.
Yeah,
like,
his eyes are shooting lasers.
His eyes are shooting lasers.
Yes.
Someone tweeted at the Auburn thing, you just lost to King David.
I mean,
and that's where we're at as a basketball community right now, is watching Bruce Pearl and company go to Israel.
And why is Jay Billis there? And why is ESPN there? What is the end game for these guys? Obviously, Bruce Pearl has won them over in this war of culture that we exist in. So I don't know, but when you typed in college basketball today on Google like I did, it was the top story.
That was the top story.
It was Auburn going to play Israel. So I think that hurts. This is a tough day. You got to get better, Bruce Pearl.
There's no articles about the Buckeyes being back, about landing a 4-star that we've bumped up to a 5-star.
Do you want me to tell you my top headline? This was the top headline that I got out today, and it's where Tennessee basketball is ranked in ESPN's way too early top 25. That is the top headline today.
When you search college basketball and just hit enter,
that is the hottest article of the day. The Tennessee fans trying to see where they rank in the way too early.
Okay,
rankings.
so let me ask you about this, because this could be a broad.
I'm thinking 15.
I got Cincinnati at 17. Yeah. I'll put Tennessee at 19.
Okay.
I got them at 19. I'm not as big of a believer as you are.
Yeah, I'm a little bullish.
So we've talked about Kentucky a lot in the last week or so, last couple weeks,
and it won't stop. By the way, literally, cow just keeps coming.
We're talking about Auburn now. And you just mentioned Tennessee. I know you're an SEC guy, but I gotta say it's one of those things where like it was funny at first, but now I'm like genuinely concerned that the SEC in basketball is like taking over. They're never going to be a good basketball. Like the Big Ten's always going to be better. I mean, I'm not worried about that part.
You're worried that the SEC is coming for basketball.
The content. I'm worried about like the SEC. Like having Bruce Pearl. Like the coaches that they have are ridiculous in terms of like the.
Especially when you add a guy like Todd Golden. You know what I mean? Which is like a media darling at Florida.
So I'm worried about that part of it. And Chris Beard's going to be in the SEC too.
Yeah.
Porter Moser,
Sister Jean adjacent.
She's gonna
be at an Oklahoma game. There's no doubt.
So
about that.
Where do you stand as a guy who has 1 foot in SEC waters right now and is flirting with the SEC? This world we live in, because like in all the changes that are happening in college sports, this one is become very strange to me. Is that like in the middle of August when there's nothing to talk about, we're talking about SEC basketball.
Which is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Because it used to be during the season, you're like, I'm still not going to talk about SEC basketball.
Yeah, like
the SEC was going on, and you would think in your head, I guess Kentucky's in first and Florida's second.
Yeah,
and then you would keep moving on.
That's it.
But now, like you said, I mean, Kentucky is the star of the show again. Coach Mr. K leaves, and now John Calipari is right there, and he's driving up content, getting Nike back as first priority. So that's really what it comes down to, too. Like, Under Armour is going to push Auburn to the moon. Nike's going to push Kentucky to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, with the AAU circuits and things, that's good for the SEC. And I'm worried because there's no real tie there. You know what I mean? Like we were just joking about. This started like 6 years ago, and it seemed like a pointed effort to kind of get into basketball. This was a league that laughed at basketball. Georgia fans used to proudly say, our gymnastics program is better than our basketball program. I would rather go to a gymnastics event than a basketball game.
Right.
They were prideful about it.
Right.
And granted, they probably still feel that way based on what we're seeing and what Tom Crean did to their program. But at the end of the day, this is the SEC mentality, so they can't be top dog because they already look at it as secondary. So you can't have your top dog.
But now I'm worried that they're like, you know what? On second thought, what if we were just top dog at everything?
Well, that's pretty much the game they're playing.
That's the game
same
they're
thing with
playing.
baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going for it.
Which they can have baseball, Like
I love college baseball.
I think the Big Ten is actually better at baseball than the SEC. And I think if the SEC teams played in freezing balls, played baseball like
you're saying it's temperatures.
Yeah. In the rain, in the freezing rain.
Oh my God.
They would
I would quit.
They would quit.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would quit.
Yeah, bring Ole Miss just won, right? They just won the bring Ole Miss to Columbus in March when it's unseasonably cold. Even it's like it's like a cold.
The
day,
ground
but
is
it's
frozen.
even colder. Yeah, the ground's still frozen. You wake up and it's like the dew is frozen over. There's like a little layer of ice on the outfield. They're toast.
This is my nightmare.
They're toast. They look like
no one's agreeing to that.
Every Ole Miss player looks like Jorge Soler in the 2016 playoffs, where when the Cubs were going on the World Series run. This man was wearing like a turtleneck. He was wearing one of those ones that like went over your entire head. It's like a ski mask.
Yeah, all you could see was his eyes.
He's got like a parka. And he's coming up to
rightfully so. Gotta stay warm. And
then he's swinging at every slider in the dirt. Oh, God love him. Well, do you want to talk about Dejounte Murray? Maybe there's more meat on that bone because I need you to explain this to me. You sent me, or was it Jim that sent the clip of Murray? If you have no idea what we're talking about, I don't know. Just Google
it's pro-am season. Pro-am season is still going on. Yeah.
So Murray, I'm going to say what the clip is, and then you're going to explain what the story is because I was very confused as to like how this escalated beyond like that one moment. Dejounte Murray was playing against Paolo Banchero and something in Seattle.
It was Nate Robinson's.
It was Nate Robinson's?
Or no, sorry, Isaiah Thomas's. The short Isaiah Thomas. It was his event, his pro-am event. Little Isaiah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Jamal Crawford's from up that way too.
Yeah, Jamal Crawford's was last week. That was the crossover.
That was last week. What?
Yeah, that was the crossover event, and that was or maybe it's still going on. These pro-am, they just keep going. But last week at the crossover, Dejounte Murray, Trae Young, and John Collins debuted together. First time they ever played as now Hawks players. So that was the big news last week. But Dejounte Murray is obviously still in Seattle, still in the pro-am scene, and now he's at Isaiah Thomas's pro-am.
And at one point, Paolo Banchero is guarding him, and he just makes him look absolutely silly. He fakes a pass behind his back and then throws it off the glass and dunks it. And pretty sick play. Whatever. I don't know. It's a pro-am. It's like,
but in a pro-am environment, that is like exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
What he delivered there, that moment, that like gotcha, and then he threw the ball at him, which was like
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, he threw the ball at Paolo.
So then I saw that there was a lot of Instagram activity, and that's where I clocked out. That's where because then there's like a link somewhere that was like, did you see what Dejounte Murray posted on Instagram? And then Paolo chirped back, and then Dejounte Murray chirped back, and I was like, no, I didn't. In fact, I'm not going to because I have Tate Frazier here to explain it to me. So what? These guys hate each other? What's going on?
No, I don't think they hate each other. I think this is a classic story of a guy you looked up to, having someone that was younger with a lot of promise, and maybe you were giving them game once upon a time, but then he became competition. Your idols become your rivals, as they say in this game. And I think a guy like Dejounte Murray, he had a guy that Paolo looked up to him, probably looked at him as an idol coming from the same area, goes to the NBA, things are going well, all-star, all that. But then Paolo's, going to go to Duke. He's going to have Mr. K and the boys, feed that ego, pump that ego. And he goes number 1 in the draft. And now these guys are in a pro-am event where all the people that are there are probably saying, I'm here to see the number 1 pick, Paolo Banchero.
Right.
And Dejounte Murray's like, I'm an all-star. I'm the real him of this situation. And I think it was like bottled up in this moment. And then it obviously exploded over when Dejounte Murray embarrassed, as the kids would say, Paolo Banchero with this dunk and everything. And then
is that the YouTube title?
I think it was Paolo and Banchero embarrassed by Dejounte Murray. And then to add insult to injury, I guess Dejounte Murray unfollowed after this whole thing.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, this is when it goes.
He unfollowed
He
him?
unfollowed Paolo Banchero, a guy that I guess they once upon a time had like a friendship, a kinmanship, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh my God.
And then Paolo, I guess on his story said, "LOL, unfollowed me on the gram and everything. It must be personal, huh? That's fine. Just make sure you guard up next time and stop sending doubles, family." Okay. That was, and then Dejounte Murray, he's gonna clap back, as the kids say. He says, "You tried to flex that #1 pick shit on me when I've been rooting for you when you was a kid asking to rebound for me at Paolo5. Don't get on this internet saying nothing. You changed from the humble kid you always was, and I stand on real shit, boy. And you made it and changed, and I lost all respect." And then, that's the end of that paragraph thought. And it comes back. "Stay humble. This life you in now is real, and it ain't no joke.
Stay humble," says the guy.
I still want to see you win because that's who I am. So he's being the bigger man. He still wants to see him win. He wants him to stay humble. If I were to deduce this situation, one, I'm Team Dejounte here, of course.
You are Team Dejounte.
Shockingly. Okay. But I don't like the Instagram after. When he did it in the moment, I thought it was great. And then he went to the bench. I don't know if you saw this. In the game, he checks out of the game. Dejounte Murray's team won. And he's coming out of the game after the game is basically sealed. And he's talking to people, and they're like, yeah. And he's like, "That boy's soft as shit. I'm the real 5. He also wears #5. Of course, Paolo goes by P5 now. So there seems to just be like a lot of like, and Dejounte Murray's the 29th pick. It seems like a lot of animosity over
I think
over who's getting the attention and things like that. And maybe Paolo did switch up, but I will give the benefit of the doubt here. There were times in this where you're like, Dejounte, no, calm down.
Jim's playing the clip for us right now. That's definitely a sweet.
It's a sweet move, and it's a nice ball fake. And then he looks back at him, then he throws it to himself. And look at the guy, the Carolina hat in the background, loving it.
But then he gets in his face, and
then he tells him,
throws the
and
then
he says
throws
you're
the
too
ball.
small, and then he throws the ball.
Called him a little boy and soft.
So I think
little boy,
you're not gonna like this. You're really not gonna like this.
I don't think I know what you're gonna say, because I don't think Paolo. I'm okay to hear the Paolo side of this. I don't feel good about where I stand, but of course I stand where I stand.
But I have to. I've made my bed.
Yeah, I have to stand where I stand.
So I'm going down with the shit. I'm Team Paolo on this. In fact, I'm so Team Paolo on this that I think this is a false flag operation by the city of Seattle, or like the Pacific Northwest as a whole. I think Dejounte Murray, I think this is all orchestrated. I don't even know if I used false flag correctly, by the way.
Sounded good. Sounded good. It was provocative.
I just rolled off the tongue. I think this is a work. I think this is Dejounte Murray is purposely trying to. I have to believe that, because like he to me looks so like, if he just would have left the play alone, like humiliate him, because like I was thinking about.
I agree with that.
Where have I seen a situation where quote unquote established veteran, which like Dejounte Murray, like how established of a veteran are we talking about? Like this guy's not.
He's 25. Yeah.
He's not like a perennial all-star that's been.
He thinks he is. He thinks he's.
But anyway, a guy who's
one-time all-star. He's a one-time all-star.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a guy who's one of the ones in the NBA humiliating like a rookie and putting him in his place, whatever. My mind immediately goes to like Kobe and all the clips that come out of Kobe and like Kyrie. Most of the time it seemed to be Kyrie. At like Team USA camps.
Yeah. And Kyrie making excuses.
And Kyrie's talking junk to him. And what does Kobe do every single time in these scenarios? He just like kind of keeps his mouth shut, looks ahead. Maybe he says like one word. He's like, okay, we'll see. And like he leaves it at that, and then he goes out and humiliates Kyrie or whoever the kid is, and then he walks off the court and just like waves and says goodbye. And the way that he handles it is the way Dejounte Murray should have handled it, where the play speaks for itself.
Exactly.
And then
it was over after the play. I was immediately like, I don't feel good about what side. When the play's happening, I'm like, I feel great about what side I'm on. This is amazing. The ball's coming off the backboard. He's catching it. He dunks it. But as soon as he threw the ball, it was like, oh wow, this is. So you're losing me. Now you're losing
very
me.
clearly just in his feelings about like how he's
upset.
He's not the Seattle guy anymore.
Well,
or do you think? Okay, wait, I'm back on Team Dejounte here. What if he's pissed off because Paolo tried to co-opt the University of Washington by wearing a purple suit on draft night and saying like,
I actually went to Washington.
I actually went to Washington, and Dejounte Murray's like, bitch, I actually went to Washington. And Paolo's like, yeah, me too. And he's like, no, dude, it doesn't work that way. And this was like an initiative. Like the whole reason for this event was all of the Pacific Northwest, the greater Seattle area. They were putting out a hit on Paolo, and they asked Dejounte to do it. And they were like, you got to humiliate this kid because he's trying to be one of us while he also turned his back on us. I don't know. I'm just
my reading between the lines is that Dejounte was jealous that Paolo was the big ticket of this event, and he was in his ego a little bit, in his feelings, and was like, "I'm actually the guy. This is a little kid. What do you mean you're here to see him? You should be here to see me." And then I think Paolo only had like 10 points in the game. Because like Dejounte's in the comments too, and he's like, he's like, this guy only had 10 points. Like, what's he talking about? That's what worries me. That's what worries me. It's like you're supposed to be the bigger man here.
Yeah.
But I do think that the Atlanta Hawks in general, their team is trying to be the assholes. They're trying to be villains. Like Trae Young likes that people think he's a villain now, and I think Dejounte Murray is leaning into that lane.
But this is exactly why, in the last few months on this show, we've talked about who's him a lot, and I think for some people that it might be a joke. For some people, they think that we're
kidding.
We're mocking this phrase that just popped up out of nowhere and every single athlete on planet Earth uses. But this is serious business, Tate, because you can't, as we've seen time and time again, you can't have more than one hymn. So we guys like you and I have to suss this out. We have to figure out the hierarchy of the hymns because I'm worried about the Hawks. Like, does Dejounte Murray, is he going to do it to Trae Young? Is he going to get to Atlanta and like he tells Trae Young I'm him, and John Collins is like, but I'm also him, and then there's issues there. This is why we have to establish who is actually him. So who is the him of this scenario? I think it's Paolo. I do think it's Paolo. Ooh. I think Paolo playing it cool and just like the fact that Paolo hasn't even played an NBA second yet and he can get this man so rattled.
Yeah, I mean
that speaks volumes. It really does.
I think in that sense it was good for Paolo because it's like he should be getting embarrassed by this clip, but at the reaction from Dejounte Murray, now he's the one that's embarrassed, Like it's wild that the basketball didn't speak for itself, and then because we live in a world where it doesn't even matter what happens on the basketball court. Let's be honest about it, Like these people don't even care. They just
that is true.
Like they really don't care. They care about what happens on the Instagram story and the unfollowing and whatever. I mean, it's basically the Real Housewives of the NBA these days. So like. We don't even care about the basketball play. So in that sense, Dejounte was already losing a battle, and then he made it even worse and compounded it by going after a rookie, And even guys that are veterans are like, why are you talking shit to this rookie, man? It seems like you're mad. Like, why are you mad?
Yeah.
Why are you so mad? And you're right. That makes Paolo look good. That's like, you're so talented and big and all this stuff. Like, you haven't even played a game yet, and NBA All-Stars are like trying to go at you. It's funny.
I'm just thinking about Paolo's last what was it? April. So we're in August now.
Yeah.
It's 4 months? It's been 4 months.
Yeah.
The 4 month up and down of Paolo Banchero, just all the little nuggets that have happened of obviously the Final Four, and then getting drafted number 1 by
the F1 event.
The F1 deal where he's mistaken for Patrick Mahomes. Oh my God! Since the last time we saw this guy play basketball,
playing with Chet last week in the crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
did you send me the picture of Chet and Paolo? No, it might have been somebody else. Were they in Vegas
the
together?
picture on the roof or whatever after they played. Yeah. And someone said this is the most 19-year-old photo of all time.
Yeah. Oh man.
But to give Paolo his credit, not to be a hater, like the guy is drumming up headlines in a sport that's supposed to be 12 months a year, and like right now
that's what I'm saying. He's
the
he's
future
a
rookie,
machine,
a guy that's never even played in the league, is like drumming up more content than anyone else. Like, so do something, Donovan Mitchell or Kevin Durant. Like, I don't want to hear about your stupid meetings with the owner where you like doubled down. I don't want to hear about that.
No, I don't either. I'm bored by the whole.
I don't. Paolo, I give Paolo credit. He's making it happen.
When is the NBA supposed to
start?
When is this shit supposed to happen? I'm just like poking, saying do something at the NBA. I mean, like college basketball makes sense for this point in time for there not to be anything going on because that's the ebbs and flows of the season. I mean, Bill Self's still on vacation for God's sakes.
Yeah, we don't also
we
also don't promote being a 12-month sport. We don't.
True.
We don't ride and hang our hat on that. That's not us.
Yeah, Jim, Google something.
I have a question though. Do you think Dejounte Murray does that if he's still a Spur?
Oh, no chance.
Do you think this is like he's
out of the Spurs culture, so he can act how he wants to act.
That's interesting.
I do think I think the Hawks are going to be an interesting team next year. I really do. I find them fascinating.
Atlanta's him is now on the Kings, Kevin Huerter. So.
I do. Yeah, Kevin Huerter is a big loss. I don't like that. I don't like the Red Velvet loss.
The King of New York.
King of New York.
King of New York.
Albany.
How did the Knicks not sign him?
Because they're the worst. I don't know.
What is the Donovan Mitchell situation? What is he going to the Knicks? He's not getting traded. What?
The Knicks are going to jail for this Jalen Brunson thing. It doesn't matter.
The Jazz. I mean, it was really the Timberwolves' fault because they set the market at 4 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert with their trade. So then now every team, like Donovan Mitchell in the front office, is like, well, if Rudy's worth 4, then Donovan's worth 5 or 6. And then all these other teams are like, oh, I'm not trading 6 first-round picks, except for the Knicks. They were the only team that was like, we're down to trade 6 first-round picks.
Shout out.
But I think that's the problem. It's like Danny Ainge is trying to do a fire sale, and everyone's aware of what he's doing, and they're like, I don't want to be a part of this. I see how this ends. I have no draft picks for 10 years.
Dude,
and
it
then
feels
you get
like
called a genius.
It feels like 6 months ago that Windhorst was doing the finger thing, and I know that was for Rudy Gobert, who was traded, but I thought it was more for like the Jazz are just like blowing everything up, and as you said, doing the fire sale. And then I already in my mind processed Donovan Mitchell playing for the Knicks. That has already happened.
Same.
And then every time I look up and I see Donovan Mitchell on a pro-am, he gets referred to as the Jazz Donovan Mitchell, and then I'm like, that can't be right. He was traded to the Knicks for like 12 picks not too long ago.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't actually. Yeah, it's all stupid.
I think the Knicks eventually do it. I think the Knicks eventually trade 5 first-round picks. I think that's what they're haggling over. It's how many picks.
What else is
5's
going on?
better than 6.
Go more than 5, I think.
What else is going on? Is there anything else? Just Google basketball.
Google basketball and see what the top.
You know what we should do? Are you watching the Woodstock '99 thing on Netflix? Either one of you seen this?
I lived it.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like this is because I watched the first episode last night, and I was thinking this is a perfect thing for the three of us to talk about because Jim was probably there. And
he was there. Jim was there.
Jim's the right age, and he's from New York.
I started the fire. That Billy Joel song is about me.
Jim lived it. I remember watching it.
Oh, man.
And Tate, you're probably too young to.
I was
really
6. Yeah.
Much of anything.
I was having a great time. Yeah.
But it's pretty good. The first episode is pretty good. And I was like, I don't know. Should we do a review of Woodstock 99?
I have a question about this. That comes up with all docs. How many docs can be made about one thing? Or how many shows can be made about one thing? Because Woodstock 99, there's already a doc.
Yeah.
That HBO just made.
I think Netflix was like, we're going to make a Woodstock 99, but this time we'll make it good. And like we'll actually like talk to people who were there.
That's what they. Yeah, I mean,
that's what they.
But like even the Mike Tyson. You see the Mike Tyson thing? He's like Hulu stole his life story.
Yeah.
But then all these people are like, why don't you just make another series about your life story? Like no one's stopping you. And then I'm like, but how many things can be made? I mean, OJ they made 1 million that one summer, but I don't know how many you can do.
I think 100 legally.
Thanks, Jim.
They the content machine of
when does it end?
The content wars of like even isn't like Magic coming out with a show on Hulu that he made specifically, or no, there's like a documentary on the Showtime Lakers that they caught wind of HBO making Winning Time, so they're like, let's make a counter program,
and they're like, this is the real story.
And
Magic made his own documentary where he was like, I'm a good guy, just let me tell my side of the story.
Yeah.
And then I watched it and I was like, Magic might be way worse than I thought. Like I wish I had never watched this.
I think that's how trials in this country are going to play out in the future, is that the defense will just make a documentary about what happened. It's a true crime documentary.
The Staircase. How many shows
no, that's how it works. It's like
made?
The guy who's being prosecuted funds a documentary crew to say what happened and release it to the public as a podcast or as like as a 10-part Netflix documentary. And then the prosecution does the exact same thing.
Yes.
And then we put it to a Twitter vote where all of America that watched it gets to now vote.
51% says he's not guilty.
And then you have like a bunch of people in the comments.
And then people are saying, these are bots voting.
These are bots. And some people are like, I accidentally clicked the wrong thing. How do I go back?
Yeah. Do I need to make another account?
And we throw a guy in prison for
God.
based on that.
I found some news, some basketball news.
Okay.
Breaking news from 4 hours ago.
Perfect.
And you may already know it, but
Perfect.
Sierra Canyon got a new player. Anthony Hardaway's son.
Really?
Ashton Hardaway, 6'8".
That's the LeBron kids school, right?
Mm-hmm. And Scottie Pippen Jr., Kenyon Martin Jr.
It's the hot school right now.
Dwayne Wade's kid go there?
Yeah.
That's
where Amari Bailey.
Yeah, but they're all going to be on the same team together though. Penny's kid and
LeBron's kid.
Yeah.
Kids. LeBron's 2 kids.
Yeah, Bryce. The real star.
Forget about Bryce.
The real star.
Well, that's interesting.
It's also interesting because Penny Hardaway just got his first international commitment today. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Kid from Spain. 4-star from Spain. So Penny Hardaway is broadening his horizons. He's saying, I want to go international, and I also want to go to L.A. Because, you have your kid in the school that has all these top recruits. You think he's not there just doing some recruiting missions for you?
Do you think Amani Bates has made Penny reevaluate things? Do you think Penny has just spent the whole offseason and the way that John Calipari did a few years ago, where he said, "I was
searching for his soul."
Yeah, I gotta hit the reset button, and then now he's doing it again after losing to St. Peter's. Do you think Penny Hardaway's doing that after his Amani Bates experience and James Wiseman experience?
Yeah,
he's like, what am I even doing with all this?
I think that he knows that it's guaranteed headlines and we're in a content game. So I think he's fine with it. But I think he also knows that the best players are overseas right now, which is why he's opening the borders. I think we're going to see Memphis bringing in guys from like Lithuania, Serbia, who knows, maybe even Greece. He just finds gyms overseas and then boom. What
violations does he have? What's the status there?
I know that it's ongoing, right? We got the update, and everyone was like, okay, Memphis is dead now. But it seems like we haven't gotten any updates. I don't know how many level 1 violations. That's how I kind of judge.
That's what I was trying to find.
I think it's 2 level 1 violations.
It says this article I found says facing multiple, so that's probably 2. Because I think if it's 3 or more, you would just say the number.
Yeah,
multiple.
But multiple sounds
you're
more.
Like, holy shit, is it 15?
Yeah, but it's only 2. And if you said only a couple, it sounds like you're dismissive.
Yes, that's why you're the big J. You explain how all this works.
Only a couple level 1 violations. Calm down. That's good Penny news, though.
That is good Penny news.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We gotta keep an eye on Penny.
We gotta go to a game. We should go to a Sierra Canyon game this year. We should put that we went to Donda. We saw that chaos. We should go to a real high school game.
What? Yeah, that was beyond high school. So
that was
bigger than basketball.
That was the most.
Speaking of Donda news, the dean of Donda, Kanye, declaring Pete Davidson dead after Kim Kardashian.
Did you see this?
And then broke up.
Yeah.
How is this going to affect Donda?
Yeah, if Kim wants him back, do you think he just is like, yeah, the school's closed. Good luck, kids.
Yeah,
he just doesn't even care about them. He's just like, whatever.
He's like,
what school?
He's like, my ploy is done.
Yeah. He's like, whatever.
He's like, now that I have my wife back, I don't have all this free time.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, how many years? What's the line? How many years Donda Academy is in the game of basketball? That's
a great question.
I know.
I think the line's 4 years. I think maybe 4.5.
Dude, they still haven't built the school. Maybe that's why he did it. He's like, no, I'm out. I'm going back to Kim.
What? Yeah. What is the end game? I've never really understood that because you've explained the shoe brand part of it all.
Yeah.
But that just feels like a get rich quick or
a write off.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
It's a write off.
So I'm trying to figure out what the long term plan was for Donda Academy.
In
general, and especially
to win
having
Kim
an actual
back.
school.
Yeah. I think it was just to show Kim that he had other hobbies. He was like, I like basketball. Remember?
I'm not obsessed with you.
Yeah, I'm not obsessed with you. I like basketball. Now come watch my games. Also, Yeezy, the brand, which was tied to Adidas, they're in turmoil right now. So that whole idea about Adidas and Yeezy and funneling kids and all that sort of stuff seems like it might not be in the works. So I think that's tough for Donda too, unless Yeezy goes independent and it's just its own.
What is the next iteration of all of this? I guess. What is we're
this has been going on for 40 years, right? Since the 80s. So it's obviously evolved, but it's the same game. It's shoe brands funneling money through schools and AAU programs.
But now that the NCAA has, you don't have to have SAT scores anymore to play college basketball.
Yeah.
We're very close to like you don't even have to go to class to play college basketball.
Yes.
Might happen any day now.
Yeah, it could happen this
year. Could happen.
Yeah.
The SEC, it's already been happening.
Yeah.
North Carolina, it's already been happening.
We had to write papers.
But so like that part of it, the Donda Academy not even having the real school. I'm trying to figure out like where does the trickle down stop of the money impacting everything? Because like we all understand that the money is driving all these decisions in college sports, but I do appreciate it. I really do. All the people out there that like to show up and be smarter than everyone in the room and be like, I'll explain what's going on. It's money. Thank you to those people. You're serving a great purpose here. Like when
you got it.
So someone's just complaining. You're like, I gotta say it's really, it just sucks that UCLA is going to be in the Big Ten. I just feels like, kind of what I know about college sports. It just doesn't. I don't know. It's a tough pill to swallow. And then someone pops around a corner and they're like, I'll tell you why it's happening. Because of money. You're like,
yeah.
Thanks, bitch. I know that.
Thank you.
But my question is, where does the money stop? Like, where does
the buck stop?
Because if high school basketball is being dominated by money, and like these academies are popping up and like La Lumiere in Indiana is hysterical to me because even when I was in high school, the La Lumiere is like the Donda of Indiana. I don't remember La Lumiere for shit. And then like you look up La Lumiere on Wikipedia or something, the school's been around forever. But like in 2015, they decided, let's just start paying kids to come to our school and we're going to build a basketball academy. And I guess it makes sense. It checks out how we got there. But my question, Tate, is like, if you're a purist of basketball and you're one of these like boomer type guys that's just like I want to watch amateurs play, take the money out of this. What level are we going to have to watch? And like, is it Division III? Is Division III going to become the new college when the NCAA?
I think it's going to be middle school basketball.
Yeah,
I think the last sanctuary of basketball is going to be middle school basketball. Like,
are we pivoting to a seventh grade?
Yeah,
podcast?
7th and 8th graders is like the last bastion of just pure basketball,
pure amateurism.
Yeah, and then
Little League World Series and 7th grade basketball.
And the shitty part about it is that the 8th graders are getting recruited, so they're already losing focus. You're like, little Johnny is thinking about his Nebraska offer right now instead of just playing the game. Like,
I remember
no matter how far you go, the distractions will be
remember when I was in 8th grade, even getting letters from the local private schools, and I would open them and I would like start reading through them, and I thought it was because I was smart or something. I was like, oh, this is interesting. They said they're going to give me a scholarship if I come, and then they would mention basketball like every. I remember being in 8th grade being like, am I getting recruited to go to a private school in 8th grade?
Yeah. Are these guys?
What is going on here?
Yeah. You are. The truth is you are.
I was, yeah. So I don't know, man. That's where my mind is going when I
The private school in my hometown, we had 3 players kicked off the public school team, Northern, and then the private school enrolled those 3 kids. Like they were like, you can't play in public school because of your grades, and then the private school was like, great, we'll take you. Now you're on our team.
That's what I'm seriously wondering, like, what will be the last? Because even like the Little League World Series is back, and I know this because my father called me 3 times today to talk to me about Ohio-Michigan game.
Yeah,
I got a voicemail from my dad. I didn't answer. I was like working out or something this morning, and when my dad called, so I just sent it to voicemail. He leaves like a 1.5-minute voicemail about how Ohio is playing Michigan on ESPN or ESPN. My dad probably buys a subscription package just to watch
ESPN Plus.
He's in the voicemail. He's talking shit about how Michigan's handing it to Ohio. And he's like, your boys are looking terrible, whatever. So I call him back after 30 minutes. I finish up whatever I was doing, and I call him back, and he's like, Ohio scored 5 runs in the top of the 5th, and they're up now. And he's just laughing about how like that's how Little League baseball works. It's like,
so that's the game.
It's like you're getting your ass kicked, and then suddenly the other team's throwing the ball all over the field, and
that's why Dad's getting fights at those games.
Yeah,
because like one of them's chirping like y'all can't handle this, and then 5 runs later he's like, wait a second.
So my dad put it on my radar that the Little League World Series is back. They had it last year, but they didn't invite the international teams, and there was no fans, and it was whatever. So like it's back in
full
earnest
capacity.
this year, full capacity this year.
Yeah.
And it's coming up, and it reminded me how much I love the Little League World Series. And then I was thinking about why I love the League World Series, and it's because of what we were talking about. Is like it does feel like it's not. I mean, you can go there and for free. The hot dog's $1. It's like it's Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and Costco are the only people where you get a hot dog for the same price you could in 1991. And the beauty, the romanticism of what sports, of playing for the love of the game, all that kind of shit that like people talked about with college sports in the 60s, that still applies. But then at the same time, this entire event is on national television
and making a lot of money.
And making a ton of money.
All these kids are like becoming stars and getting nothing from it.
ESPN had they got the rights to this thing with like $100 million bid or something. I don't know what the number was, but it probably was something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. And I'm just like going a little crazy thinking about it. It's like, where's there's got to be a level somewhere. Like, can we create some sort of sport, some sort of system where you do just play? There's no cameras, and the people that are in charge of running the thing aren't like trying to figure out ways to stab each other in the back to make more money and move this around.
Go to your local rec league, and it's the same corruption. It's like if you create a sports league, you're gonna start doing corrupt things. It's unbelievable. I don't know where it ends.
I don't know how I got off on that.
No,
I think Jim brought up Donda, and I just like my mind just goes crazy thinking about it, because like I'm fine with, like, I don't mean to complain about it, and this is I feel like we do this rant all the time when we're talking about the
pay the kids
changing climate of college sports or whatever. Like I understand all this was inevitable, and I welcome the change, and to a certain extent. It's just like if you are someone who has an appetite for that idea of like what made a lot of people fall in love with college sports was that you get 4 years to play. That's out the window. You got Ohio State's got Seth Towns in his 7th year. Who I take Fraser voice. I like Seth Towns.
Yeah, you really like that guy.
And I like Seth Towns.
You think he might be the best player?
If you can just get healthy.
Yeah. God, if you just
do the one thing he hasn't done in 7 years. He's playing for 7 years. Brad Davison's playing for 6 years, whatever the hell it ended up being. That's out the window. Like the student athlete part of it is completely out the window at this point. The amateur part is out the window, and it all should be to some extent. Like I don't know. That's not even what I'm trying to say. I don't even want to debate that part. I'm just saying if you have an appetite for sports where there is something bigger than all the players, they are playing for free, and like there is like the love of the game type thing. There's got to be a level at some point where they're not making a shit ton of money from television contracts, where they're not. And I don't know when all the dust settles on all of this, because it does feel like there's like a lot of bubbles at play too, that like some of these bubbles are going to get popped. I don't think the Big Ten and the SEC bubbles are going to pop, but like somewhere along the line, like something's going to get shaken up. There is going to be like a dust settling. And when the dust settles, if you're someone who is longing for that sort of thing, where do you have to turn? I don't know. Is it 7th grade basketball?
I think it's the ABA, the Amateur Basketball Association, that we create, and we just bring in people, and they have to sign the same contract that Michael Jordan signed for the love of the game.
For the love of the game.
That's the only thing that their contract is, and it's like basically like why I'm here. It's because I love this game, and I want to play for the pure sport of competition. Michael Beasley is our player commissioner.
Yeah, he's a player, the first ever player commissioner.
Yes.
Well, second after LeBron.
Yeah.
In the NBA, but he's otherwise, yeah. Michael Beasley
started with the Adam Silver shot, ended with an Adam Silver shot. Love to see it.
I don't know. I don't even know if that was a worthwhile rant. I just Jim brought up Donda, and then I'm just like, here we go again.
I have a Donda update, by the way.
Please, what's happening?
Penny Hardaway has withdrawn his kid from
now he's going to Donda.
No, the dean of Donda took down that post after Kim went ballistic on him.
The dean of Donda took down
Kanye.
Took down
for people that didn't see this.
What post?
So Kanye put on Instagram today like a New York Times,
like a Photoshop newspaper, like front page
of the New York Times, and it read, "Skeet Davidson dead."
And like is like 28 years old or something.
Yeah, at 28, and then like underneath it, what did he put? Like Kid Cudi's supposed to perform at funeral, but
won't go to funeral,
but won't go because of bottle throwers.
Yeah, he's afraid of people throwing bottles in tiny font.
Tiny font.
Like you have to zoom all the way in.
Absolutely insane.
Just to take a shot at Kid Cudi is probably like, what the hell?
Jim, you have to work for this man.
Like
that is.
That's something that Jim
That's our next step.
That's something that Jim would make and send to Kanye and be like, "What do you think about this?"
You got to get on Kanye's
zoom in, check out what I put in the bottom.
How do we set that up?
Don't we know someone who said they went to work for Kanye at some point?
Sure.
You remember? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I vaguely remember us having a mutual.
Somebody who was tweeting crazy things after we all worked together, and then he said he was working for Kanye. And he was also Allah and all that.
Yes.
Good times.
Yes, I blocked those times out.
Reach out to him.
But yeah, at least he took down the post. That's good. That's good to see. All right.
Sure, he's growing.
Donda update.
All right.
Nothing about basketball. That's the problem with Donda. Like we went to a basketball game and none of our takeaways were about the basketball game.
I don't think we saw a basketball, did we?
There was no basketball.
It was a performance. It was.
We saw a guy painting.
Yeah, we did.
It was a guy painting and then a rap performance by like someone.
Yeah.
Donda.
But there was no basketball. Even when they were playing the game, they were playing without basketball.
Yeah. They were just like flexing. Yeah.
It was performative art.
You have to imagine the basketball. Different people were seeing different plays. Pretty good.
Football's coming back. Are you excited about that? Do you have Chargers season tickets?
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah. Running it back, baby. Can't wait. Gonna be good. I mean, we're a top 5 Super Bowl team based on the odds. So a lot of people are saying LA keeping the Super Bowl, just not the Rams. It's our turn.
Ooh.
It's our turn. Bolt up, baby. Can't wait.
Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Got Khalil Mack there.
Justin Herbert.
Are you more of a Chargers fan than Panthers fan at this point?
I mean, the Panthers.
How long will that take, do you think?
I think 10 years.
Okay.
I think 10 years. But the Panthers, the unfortunate part is like, I mean, they just can't do it. This new regime, this new ownership. Not to say the old ownership. I'm pumping out for, but it just doesn't feel the same. It feels like South Carolina. They're like the South Carolina Panthers. You know what I mean? And like I'm the North Carolina Panthers.
Do the Panthers matter to people?
Yes.
In the Carolinas, they do?
Yeah, especially in Charlotte, obviously.
Okay.
And Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Did the Hornets matter more? Less? Way less.
The Hornets matter less.
Because was that true before Cam? Or did Cam make people care
the
about
Panthers were loved because of Jake Delhomme, Steve Smith. You know what I mean? Like that was like the real.
I mean, that's all I really need to say about the state of the Carolina Panthers is the Panthers were beloved because of Jake Delhomme.
Super Bowl, baby. Never forget. And if John Casey didn't kick that ball out of bounds, we win the Super Bowl. You're never talking about Bill Belichick. You're never saying he's one of the greatest coaches ever. You're not talking about Tom Brady.
Whoa.
It's all because of John Casey kicking a ball out of bounds.
You did this, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
you created the Patriots.
Yes. It was us. And that was the Janet Jackson Super Bowl. That was like a tentpole moment in pop culture. Great time.
What pole?
A tent pole. No, a tent.
Tent. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. I was like, it was, but I've never heard
big
that
moment.
term before.
Big moment.
Jim, you're a Jets fan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any shout outs or closeouts today?
I have one shout out. I want to shout out Isaiah Briscoe. I know you saw this Pro-Am season. 74 points in the Hoopsville Pro-Am.
Yeah, we should have talked about
record.
this more at the top, honestly.
Yeah.
When we're starved for content, this feels like good content. Was Isaiah Briscoe holding up a 74 thing?
Yes.
We touched on this before, right? Like how many points do you have to score to hold up the sheet?
It's 70 or more. 70.
Is that what we decided?
I think it should be 69 or more, but I think 70 is the number.
70 feels good to me.
Devin Booker set the bar at 70.
Did he hold up a piece of paper?
He held up a piece of paper. And they took a picture, and guess what? They lost the game. And then there were a lot of people that were saying, can you take a picture after you lose the game? I don't know.
I think if you score 69, though, you're going to want to hold up a 69.
Exactly. That's why I think it starts there. That's why I think that's the number. I think it's a race of 69. And then you hold up the piece of paper. And in fact, like if you're on 69 and you're at the free throw line, you miss it on purpose. You miss it on purpose. I
still stand by. I've thought about it a lot since I said it on the show, just out of nowhere. But I've really given it some thought. I do think that a bounty idea makes a ton of sense for. I want Adam Silver to be like, I will pay you a ton of money if you can score 82 points in a game.
Yeah.
To the NBA guys.
Yeah.
You get a huge bonus if you break.
Mm-hmm.
Put out the night before opening night. Here are the 10 records we're trying to see broken.
You get 1% of the league's revenue share of the season.
Yes. If someone breaks one of these 10 records this year, Or you can like change it up. It could be like, here are 5 records for like the first 3 months of the season. Then it changes to another 5.
Yeah.
You draw them out of a hat the night before. You know what's crazy is that the NBA is wild enough to like
do this.
There's no idea that's out of bounds.
That's why we're talking about an in-season tournament. That shows you how dumb things can get. They can get real.
Write
dumb.
down every record in the NBA, put it in a hat, and then Adam Silver. No, get Adam Silver out of here. Mark Tatum draws the records.
It's Tatum.
Yeah, and it's like a Hunger Games deal. I've never seen Hunger Games.
I think Dejounte Murray breaks Scott Skiles' record of 30 assists. Putting it up now. Put a bounty on it. He's him. He'll do it.
I want to shout out Sky Clark. Was he on the show? I can't remember.
He was on the show, and
we had Sky Clark on the show.
He was supposed to come on the show and commit. Remember?
That's right. We booked him to commit.
He was booked to commit on our show. He was a 5-star, similar to Peyton Watson, our first commit, 5-star. We were trying to create a thing of 5 stars that came on our show and committed. Sky Clark came on our show and basically was like, I don't know yet. And we were like, what? What are we?
That's right. That's right. He okey doked us for sure.
And he was like, I like Kentucky. We thought it was Kentucky, but then obviously Illinois.
Well, it was Kentucky
at the time. Yeah.
He committed to Kentucky.
That's right. That's
right. And
then
he decommitted and went to Illinois. He's friends with the Sky Clark mystery continues. This guy who he's a freshman in Illinois now.
Yeah,
right?
He's about to be a freshman.
He's never played a second of college basketball. But
he's maybe the biggest star on the team.
He's got some Paolo Banchero in him. Hasn't even moved on to the next level yet, and he's already been a content goldmine leading into his debut season. He's friends with Tobey Maguire,
apparently,
but doesn't explain how or why.
No, just took a picture with him.
Took a picture
and was just like, big things coming,
Yeah,
like we're and to add insult to injury, it wasn't like he just ran into Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire has on a Sky Clark 55 jersey, which, as you just mentioned, has never been worn. This is a jersey that does not even exist in the real world of college basketball. He's never clocked in at number 55 as an Illinois player, but Tobey Maguire already has the jersey.
And we can't explain how or why.
I think
we have no idea.
There has to be some. I mean, Tobey Maguire, big gambler. I don't know if he has something on Illinois games. I don't know.
Tobey Maguire was the guy in Jessica's game, right?
Or Molly's game.
Jessica Chastain.
Player X. Or
Jessica
whatever.
Chastain played Molly, right?
Yeah.
So Molly's game.
Yeah.
Michael Cera played.
Michael Cera played Tobey Maguire. Yeah. Tobey Maguire was livid about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would be.
He threw a fit. Yeah. I mean, but Michael Cera is hilarious.
How does that feel to be Michael Cera? And if you're playing anybody, everyone's gonna be pissed. Is there a human being that could be played by Michael Cera that the guy being played by Michael Cera wouldn't be like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Michael Cera's
yeah, he's like, that's who you picked.
And then Michael Cera's like, I'm pretty funny, aren't I?
Yeah, he's like people like me.
I thought people like
yeah, he's like, I'm kind of like Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
But I think he was pissed how he was depicted, even though the stories are supposedly all true.
I mean,
I thought he would be pissed.
I think he's both. I think he was both. I think it's both pissed. He was definitely pissed.
I think his gut was pissed about Michael Cera, and then when people were like, "Damn, you seem mad," he was like, yeah, because of how."
yeah. Michael Cera was like calling him. He's like, "Hey, man, don't want to be weird, but I heard you said some things about me." He's like, "No, what about you?" It's how it's depicted.
You're great, man.
You're great, dude.
When I heard that you were going to be playing me, I was so excited. I was like, of all the people in the world, all the A-list actors,
that's who I would have picked.
That's who I
would have handpicked you. I would have handpicked you, Mike.
That sucks, dude. Can there possibly be a single person that would be excited to have Michael Cera play him?
Beck. They kind of look alike.
I don't know what Beck looks like.
It looks just like Michael Cera.
Is Beck the guy that
won the Grammy that time?
Is that when Kanye?
Yeah, it's a loser, baby. So why don't you kill me?
Yeah, that's what it was. Beck's most famous moment, I think, was like he won a Grammy over Kanye. Kanye or maybe he was mad that Beyonce. I don't remember why he was mad, but he was mad at Beck, and that's why it was funny.
He's mad at.
Oh man.
I want to shout out. I have another shout out. The Manhattan Beach 6-man Tate, this volleyball tournament that goes on in Manhattan Beach. As you know, since I moved to Los Angeles. One of my goals for years has been to break into the Manhattan Beach elite social circle. It's a very prestigious thing, and part of the way you got to break in is you got to go to this volleyball tournament that they have every August. I talked about this
locals only.
Yeah, Manhattan Beach is a very locals only place. That's by design. There's nowhere to park. There's no hotels anywhere.
Yeah.
So like if you're an out of towner and you're
no, it's basically like, do you have $5 million to buy a house there?
Yeah.
Okay, buy.
Yeah, and I want in.
yeah.
I want to be one of those $5 million guys. So full transparency, here's my plan. I want to be rich. So I got invited down there last year and I went to it and it was a good time. So this year I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go again. It was this past weekend. But the reason it's relevant to this show, Tate, is I went both days this time, Friday and Saturday. It is a 6-man beach volleyball, 6-man aside. The competitive beach volleyball you might watch on television is usually 2-on-2, and this is 6. So like it's obviously a lot more people, but it creates like more insane spikes because like you're not recovering and like just trying to. It's not the cardio workouts. So like one guy's just kind of standing there waiting for someone to set the ball up to him.
Yeah, and then he's going to absolutely rip it. Yeah,
but then there's 6 guys on the other side. So when he's ripping it, someone's going to be in a space that
they're blocking it.
Block it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it makes for like it's like basically like slam ball for and what makes it so funny to me is that people are in costumes and it's not just like me, you, and Jim and some of our buddies put together a team. It's like the best beach volleyball players in the entire world. It's God knows how many All-Americans, God knows how many professional players are in this thing. Everywhere you look, everybody's like 6'9" and taller and just completely shredded and great athletes. But the whole reason I bring this
Played
up,
basketball at USC or Arizona,
Exactly. Because the whole reason I bring this up is that Luke Walton and Richard Jefferson were on a team again this year.
Love that.
They are absolutely electric, those guys. They were on a team. They played a little bit. As the tournament wore on, they slowly phased themselves out, and they became like the sideline guys.
Love that.
Talking smack.
Yeah. Start out hot.
Yeah.
Let people know that this is your team, and then become a leader.
And they got second. They ended up losing in the championship. They lost to a team that they had beat already, and then they but they didn't play. So I don't know. I just want to shout out those guys.
I mean, Richard Jefferson is #1 ESPN TV talent for me right now. He's the perfect person at like getting why he's there. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate that we spend a lot of time talking about another new, fresh personality over there that's in the NBA. But Richard Jefferson, we see you.
Last year, if I remember correctly, because the NBA draft got bumped to August.
Thank God we're done with that. By the way, I know that was terrible.
The 6-man tournament last year was the day after the NBA draft, and the draft's on like the Thursday night. Then the first day was on Friday at 9 a.m. And Richard Jefferson, if I remember correctly, was there for the very first game. Like he got on a red eye from New York because the draft was in New York. He gets on a plane, flies all the way across the country because he had to hurry back
for this tournament.
And
then they were like, "We'll see you at 8 a.m."
Yeah.
For the first game.
Where everybody there is just like shit-faced and wearing a costume, but then also everybody seems to be an All-American volleyball player.
Very seriously,
It's hilarious. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So shout out to all the people. And if you're listening and you're in the Manhattan Beach social elite circle, I don't know, DMs are open.
Yeah,
I'd love to.
Was Chase Budinger there?
He wasn't there this year. He was there last year.
He's a big volleyball guy, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to be nasty.
He was probably like playing in some tournament somewhere. That dude's probably. There's no way this is true, but he's the type of guy though that you would find out has made more money playing volleyball than basketball. He's like playing professional beach volleyball for 15 years.
Yeah, people are clowning him for and he's like, honestly, this is way better. I'm a Nike sponsored athlete. It's like I'm living the dream.
I go to 4 tournaments a year.
Yeah, great.
The first Pat McAfee or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anything else?
I mean, we just want to shout out the rehearsal. I think all 3 of us. I mean,
we're all watching that.
If you're not watching it, just go watch it. I don't want to ruin it or spoil it or like.
Yeah, we got people on the crew that are watching it that are here in the building right now that
have not seen it.
We're
not going to spoil
anything,
but you got to go watch it. I mean, it's 34 minutes, right? That episode was 34 minutes. I felt like it was a saga. I felt like I watched something for like an hour and a half. That's how many things happen.
The show's the most unhinged show I've ever seen. Yeah.
And I'm in the Valley, and I realized that his little studio is in NoHo, like literally 3 streets over from me. And I like drove over to try to figure out where it was, but the sign's down now, and I'm like.
But that's all part of the. That's the mind fuck.
Nathan's around me circling. Oh, but that's it. That's my last shout out. Watch the rehearsal.
I saw Nathan in my neighborhood, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I sent you guys a picture.
Yeah, it was blurry.
By the way, shout out. The coaches poll came out today, preseason. Ohio State, number 2.
Nice.
I'm good with that. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
But Ohio State also #1 in most annoying college fan bases. Did you see that?
Who made the list?
No.
Some
Was it
science thing. Barstool Sports. Barstool U. This is a scientific thing.
This is analytics.
MichiganFootballDigest.com.
Yes.
No, honestly, I'm trying to think of fan bases that would would actually wear that like a badge of honor. Ohio State is
Auburn
is
basketball.
on there. Auburn's
#2. Auburn's #2.
Auburn's on there. Ohio State would like if we were #2, we would fight and be like, "Are you?"
We're number
fucking-
one.
We're by far the most annoying fan base.
Notre Dame
even-
probably wants to be in
#4.
there. Number 4?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about who else is annoying. I mean, Alabama's annoying. right?
#3.
Yeah.
Alabama's annoying for different reasons though, because
Yeah, of
Alabama's
course.
like
They're annoying because they win.
it's like understated. Like they don't.
Yeah.
I feel like the Alabama fans aren't.
And there's two different Alabama fans. There's like real Alabama people that are
Yeah.
like, I'm Roll Tide forever. And then there's like the new bandwagon. I like the Cowboys. I like Duke. I like Alabama football.
Where's Tennessee? Is Tennessee on there?
#5.
Number
You
5?
guys are pretty good.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Tennessee has
Did
to
you
be.
see this?
No, but
Tennessee
That's pretty good.
checks out as being on there. Yeah.
Did you tell us number 1?
Yeah, it was Ohio State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, far and
Go
away.
Bucks, baby.
Far and away.
Let's go. How many other Big Ten?
It's the
what's the
D.
next highest Big Ten school? Do you know the
8.
Big Ten school? Oh, okay.
Michigan.
No, it's going to be
Penn State.
It's
Yeah,
Penn
Penn State.
Yeah, it's Penn State.
Wait,
Penn
who do you
State-
think's #6?
Penn
Penn State should be one. Dude.
Yeah, Penn-
like if we're talking,
I think
like,
Texas
real
A&M,
life,
Penn State should be 1 too.
Yeah.
Because they're both Colts. Like,
Yeah.
And Colts, like, you're going to have to be top of the list for annoying.
Jim, what do you think? What was of the tour we went on last year? All the stops we went on. What was the most annoying fan base?
I don't know.
You can say
Ohio
Ohio State.
State.
You can
No.
say Ohio State.
No,
You can say Ohio State.
I didn't find anyone annoying.
I did. I mean, like Ohio, that's part of the charm of Ohio State. Like, we are annoying. Yeah. We expect to win like every. I'll never forget driving into basketball practice when Juice Williams in Illinois beat Ohio State. Ohio State was ranked #1 in the country. It was the season.
Juice Williams, great running back.
We ended up going to the national championship for the second year in a row and lost to LSU that season. But we weren't even that good. Like it was like when the selection came out and we were playing LSU, like all the Ohio State people were like, "Are you shitting me? Like we don't want send us to the Rose Bowl. We don't want to go there." But we lose at home to Illinois, who's unranked, and we're ranked #1 in the country at the time. And I'm driving to for some reason we had basketball practice like an hour after the game ends. I don't know why or how, like what the hell, like whatever. So I'm trying to drive into the shot, and the cops are directing traffic like away from campus, obviously, because like we just have
Get
a
out
home
of
game.
here.
Everybody get out of here. So I pull over. I put in I'm in like the left turn lane that's like closed, but I'm trying to turn left to go to where I park and everything. And a cop comes running up, starts banging on my car, and he's like, and the whole point of telling this story is like the testosterone that came from the cops, because he sends me some way. I go another path. Another cop was like yelling at me, and I roll down the window. I'm like, I'm just trying to get to the shot. And he's like, get the fuck out. And the point is the testosterone that's flowing
the
in
anger.
Columbus when the Buckeyes lose a football game.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
You don't want to be there.
It's a point. It's like it's
a national crisis or like local crisis.
It's part of the charm of being in Ohio. It's like we create such a dangerous situation when Ohio State loses that the refs
That they
feel
better
like they
that they
have
better
to,
win.
Yeah, they have to win.
Yeah, they're like we got to feed these people what they want. They want a W.
I felt that way with Tennessee with basketball when we played at Tennessee. When I think that was like 2008 or something. We played Bruce Pearl at Tennessee. I felt that way about the Tennessee basketball fans. I was like, they're so crazy that that they have to we have to lose or else we're gonna die.
I was at the 2010 Music City Bowl when the TJ Yates where he spiked the ball and then they ended up creating the 10-second runoff rule.
Oh yeah,
I was at that game and Tennessee fans were going to murder us. Like that was their plan. And I had this Tennessee guy came up to me and said, "I'd take 1 Tennessean over 10 North Carolinians." And I was like, I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about, but he looks like he's deranged and he's gonna murder me. They threw beer bottles at us. I mean, they're They should be #1. Tennessee should be #1. Way too early power rankings.
They would wear that.
So
they would be very excited about that. They would love to be.
I think they would actually like it more than anyone else.
They would.
Yeah. Shout out to the Volunteers.
Well, A&M, Jim, we're
#7.
They're #7.
Is Texas on there?
What's 6? Texas 6?
Texas is number 9, so Penn State's 8. So you just need to guess 6 and 10.
This is great content.
6.
Everybody listening is like, "Ooh,
Oklahoma?
No,
Oklahoma wasn't bad, right? They were cool. I don't know. I feel like you could pepper in like a USC maybe.
6.
Yeah,
You guys definitely saw this thing. Or
you could throw a USC in there.
Number 10's tough. You get like any team could be number 10.
Yeah.
Miami?
Florida State? Clemson. Yeah.
Clemson. Yeah. ACC.
I knew we were in there.
Yeah, we were there.
I knew we were in the right area.
We're like, what conference am I going to go in?
Yeah. There we go. All right.
I think that's a great way to wrap it up.
Wrap
Shout out to that top 10 list.
Shout out. Anything else? Any other shout outs, Jim?
Rest in peace, Olivia Newton-John.
Nice.
From Greece.
Rest in peace. Legend.
Happy anniversary to all those people that were on that boat in Chicago with the Dave Matthews 18 years ago. Their band dropped all that crap on them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This is the
18 years ago today.
Today is the anniversary.
Yeah.
I remember that
Awesome.
story.
Imagine that.
Their hair still smells like it. Crazy.
They said that in the story?
No.
Oh, my God. I mean, that is honestly the most evil thing I've ever heard. Like, seriously.
It wasn't on purpose.
I mean, even so, the fact that you dump that in the river of Chicago, like, that's evil in and of itself.
Chicago, who cares?
My God.
First time I ever rode on an airplane, I used the restroom, and I think it was, whatever, it was number 1. But
it's making me think.
I didn't know what I said.
It wasn't number 1.
The way I said, use the restroom on the heels of the Dave Matthews story. I felt like I needed to clarify, but then once I clarified, I realized I definitely didn't need to clarify. But I remember like asking my parents or my brother or somebody older than me, because you push the button to flush the toilet and then it like sucks it out, you know. And I remember being like amazed. I was like, what just happened? Where did it go? And I asked somebody, and whether it was my dad or my brother, whoever said, oh, it just like goes out into the air or whatever. Like there's a chute that just like shoots out into the, and for like 10 years of my life, I believed that that's how it worked. To where like I'm still in high school and you see like a plane flying over, and I'm just like, oh, no. I hope they don't hit the. I
hope they're not dropping.
I really did. For the longest time, I believed that's how it worked. Was that because yeah, never mind. That's a different story for
God. That was a great shout out.
That's a good shout out. Oh, we should watch the Woodstock thing. Can we do that? Can we do that as a show? Because if we're starved for content, I'm telling you, the first episode.
Let's watch it and then talk about it.
It's not that much of a commitment, dude. It's like it's like a 2-hour commitment totally.
Let's watch it. Talk about it on Friday, and read some emails. There you go.
That's a good show.
That's a good show.
We should review this documentary because I think it's perfect for us. I think it's just the three ages that we are. It hits all three of us differently.
Yeah.
And this is on HBO, Woodstock 99.
Jim, I'll send you. Jim, I'll send you my login. Okay, is that what this is about?
Yeah.
I will send you my Netflix.
No, it's about there being too many of these documentaries. I'm gonna watch the wrong Fyre Fest again.
That is true. There was 2 Fyre Fests.
It's too much.
But there's always one that's better than the other one.
Of course.
And this one's better than the other one.
Okay.
So let's watch this one.
All right.
That's all I'm saying.
I've seen the other one and I watched this one.
Which is this one?
I hate
Netflix
everything.
one or the Hulu one?
I'm about to go Woodstock 99 on Jim's ass. This is ridiculous. All right, that's the show. We'll see you guys Friday.